Item Number SCP-3199. Object Class Keter. Special Containment Procedures. All live instances of SCP-3199 are to be contained on Site-114 within a Keter humanoid containment chamber, the walls of which should be coated in approximately 2 cm thick acid-resistant steel. 2 meters of empty space are to be allocated between this chamber and secondary containment. Secondary containment consists of suspending all live instances of SCP-3199 inside a solid block of strong, transparent substance, currently clear acrylic resin. This block is to be at a height of at least 3 meters, with one armed security guard stationed directly outside initial containment at all times. An 8-digit passcode can be obtained from the current Site-114 director in order to access the initial containment chamber and allow for close-up examination of SCP-3199's behavior and appearance. CCTV equipment is, however, installed in one corner of the containment cell for remote observation. Secondary containment is to be regularly examined for damages. Any sign of aggressive activity will be noted and the current Site-114 director informed at the earliest possible convenience. A temporary recall procedure is detailed in Addendum 3199-03. Experiments involving the use of live SCP-3199 instances are strictly prohibited without the approval from at least 2 personnel of Level 4 security clearance or above. As of December 6, 2017, there are 4 present to contain instances of SCP-3199. Description: SCP-3199 is a sentient humanoid species of a currently unknown biological origin, though tissue samples suggest traces of domestic chicken, Gallus gallus, and chimpanzee, Pan troglodytes, DNA. Instances of SCP-3199 are hairless, stained in a thin layer of albumin, and stand at an average of 2.9 meters. Weight averages 780 kilograms for a matured instance, and 360 kilograms for a hatchling. The necks of SCP-3199 appear dislocated, and are capable of twisting approximately 340 degrees, presumably due to the nature of SCP-3199's reproductive cycle. SCP-3199 are opportunistic hunters, engaging with live subjects within a radius of 0.6 kilometers surrounding hatchlings that have not yet reached full adolescence. Average speed is recorded at 25 kilometers per hour. Upon contact with human or animal subjects, SCP-3199 will proceed to redacted, liquefying internal organs and bone structure. The cadaver is then transported to the young and utilized as a form of nourishment. Instances of SCP-3199 have been observed producing large eggs of an off-white coloration and rubbery appearance. These eggs pass through the entity's stomach, esophagus, and eventually out via the mouth, followed by a viscous red substance. First thought to be a form of placenta, chemical breakdown has determined it to be a highly corrosive material. SCP-3199 shows extreme distress throughout the process, with personnel describing the sound not dissimilar to a scream. Presumably due to a biologically ingrained method of avoiding extinction, SCP-3199 produces its eggs to fill available space. This anomalous property currently has no known limit, and as a result may pose an LK-class species transmutation scenario. Termination of SCP-3199 can be performed with relative ease. However, a complete eradication is currently difficult, as all instances of SCP-3199, regardless of age, carry 1 egg inside their stomach, ensuring survival for at least 1 member of their species at all times. Egg samples have proven to be extremely resilient, lacking visible signs of damage after subjection to extreme blunt force trauma, extensive pressure exceeding 180,000 psi, high-precision blades, serrated and non-serrated, and long-term acid exposure. Use of point-blank explosives was suggested but never tested. Heat exposure has been determined to accelerate hatch rates, and thus detonation may run the risk of a containment breach. See Addendum 3199-04. SCP-3199 was issued Keter classification on October 6, 2017, following the events of a containment breach. SCP-3199's original water containment method was disassembled and replaced with the current resin solution. Addendum 3199-01. On 2017, 05 dispatched the following notice regarding SCP-3199. All experiments involving SCP-3199 egg samples are strictly prohibited until further notice. Hatching periods have proven too unreliable to warrant extensive research, and as the consequences of a containment breach become more and more apparent, the O5 Council have collectively decided to eliminate risks at the source and prevent testing until new information surfaces. We thank you for your cooperation. SCP-3199 was discovered in Ireland after reports of an unidentified bald creature crying like a banshee from within a dense woodlands resulted in the dispatching of MTF Omega-19, Omelette. 2 personnel were lost in action, their internal organs and jaws having been almost entirely dissolved. During transportation, SCP-3199 produced 2 offspring, resulting in the deaths of a further 6 personnel. See Addendum 319902. Addendum 319902. On 2017, a thorough sweep of SCP-3199's initial recovery location was performed in an attempt to uncover any further information regarding their origin. Locals claim that the small remote residence in question has been established in the woods for several years. Surface Team D029 recovered several items of interest, including 1 bag of assorted thread and needles of various color, approximately 13 chicken carcasses based on the collective halves and quarters, with precise incisions located on the underbelly, neck, and thigh. 6 of the carcasses have been plucked, with visible human teeth marks lining the bare area seemingly at random. Several containers, including water bottles and Tupperware boxes, holding an unidentified watery paste. The paste is deep brown in color and in the presence of oxygen becomes viscous and hard. Substance is currently awaiting chemical breakdown. An A5 notebook, brand, and heavily scratched with what was determined to be human fingernails. The words, "Open when we are pure," are written on the front, and 2 chicken feather quills. The notebook itself consisted of 24 pages of standard lined paper written in non-anomalous black ink. 19 of these pages consisted of various cuboid patterns and crude childlike illustrations vaguely resembling SCP-3199. On the remaining 5 pages, large lines of writing detailed the diary of an unnamed individual. Most of what was written was found totally illegible. However, one extract in particular, dated June 1973, was written with notably higher clarity. If you're reading this, then lucky you. 1 millionth hour from not, it will be fun. And the wonderful versatility of inferior human DNA will give birth to a new era. A stronger era. One where, illegible, and food and water will be nothing but things of the past as we make and make and make more until, for the better future. Legible. I really haven't much time. That's why I envy you so. You'll have all the time you need. Time will be a thing of time be on, and death will be life. Life. New life changes lives and brings smiles like a freshness. A new life will be a part of life from now on. The final page consisted of several ink blots, 13 instances of the word life in various sizes, and 2 instances of the words "Didn't you want this?" Addendum 319903. Protocol 3422B. Poached. Regarding the recontainment of SCP-3199, the following procedure will occur in the event of a breach. On-site personnel with Level 1 security clearance or above assume standard lockdown procedure and immediately move to Site-113 unless instructed otherwise. Site-114 is to be filled entirely with distilled water, treated with Class A sedatives. Surface Team Tango 306A will be notified and dispatched and instructed to retrieve any instances of SCP-3199's eggs. Any living instances of SCP-3199 will be terminated on site, and the remaining eggs will be collected. All egg samples are to be transported to temporary off-site containment. Site-114 will then be drained, and janitorial staff dispatched to thoroughly clean the area. Personnel attempting to breach Site-114 before this inspection is complete will be apprehended and suspended accordingly. Note: Some personnel have displayed skepticism regarding the necessity of SCP-3199's current breach protocol. To elaborate, we have reason to believe that fluid is an excellent counter to SCP-3199's anomalous reproductive properties. It appears to enter an inert state in the presence of liquid, regardless of thickness or clarity. There are two theories regarding this occurrence. 1. SCP-3199's need for survival demand all of its attention to focus on not drowning. It's possible we have found a loophole within its own nature. 2. SCP-3199 considers the liquid around it as full space, and as a result does not produce any young when submerged. The latter theory holds more water, as SCP-3199 appears to be totally inactive when submerged. For now, I believe I speak for all of Site-114 when I say it's a relief to at least have a consistent method of containment. Dr. Watt, May 12, 2017. Video log, Interview 319901. Interviewer, Dr. Ewing. Interviewed, Corporal Duncan, leading captain of MTF Omega-19. First to capture and detain SCP-3199 during initial recovery. Forward. Subject has undergone extensive psychiatric therapy prior to interview, and whilst not considered responsible for the deaths of Private McLeod and Lieutenant Corporal Langley, admitted to not having performed the necessary precautions. Begin log. Take a seat, right? Please, if you would. The job was pretty simple. No auditory or visual triggers that the eggheads in Site-114 knew about. Seems to me as if they'd done a pretty top job scraping the area clean. Never is that easy though, huh ma'am? We landed at around 2100 hours. The boys and I had been told if we couldn't catch the thing, the next best thing would be snapping a frame or two, so they hooked us up with the best in night vision hardware. I know you've got pictures, Ela. I know you've got something. Dr. Ewing looks grave. You're under no obligation to view the recording. Nah, I know that. Just shook me a little. Please, go on. We found something within the hour. Almost like a shack, totally out of scrap metal and wood. Looked more like an oversized chicken coop than anything else, but I don't know that your new monster built it. Just made it a home. And I assume you entered ASAP? Of course. It was a late shift. Wanted this over as quick as possible. I'd like to say that's why I did what I did, but I can't bring myself to make excuses. Corporal Duncan places his head in his hands. I really fucked it, ma'am. Pardon my French. It's perfectly appropriate, all things considered. However, I am going to have to ask you to continue explaining the procedure. Right. Well, I had two of my men stationed aback. Private McLeod and Corporal Langley insisted they take first charge. Fresh out of training they were. Kids. I should be used to it by now, but... Never seen a smile get cut down so quick. It knew we were there somehow. Jumped right at Private McLeod and data expunged. The fucking teeth out of his head. I see it whenever I blink, ma'am. That's the shit that stays with you. I assure you, the Foundation will take every measure to ensure financial comfort for the families of your lost men. Could you elaborate on the other casualty? Corporal Duncan leans back in his chair. Duncan, please, I have to urge you to continue. The more we know, the more we can do to stop it from happening again. We barely had time to react before it started necking it down the corridor to the right. I guess the adrenaline had just about hit me because I fired off enough rounds to blow a chunk out of its chest. Just as its ugly head was about to hit the corner, I saw... Corporal Duncan shows visible signs of distress. I saw straight fucking moonlight out the other side. Bullseye. Thing let out the most awful scream. I have a beautiful little baby boy at home, Doc. You know that? Irrelevant discussion of domestic life isn't necessary for this procedure, Lance Corporal. Could you please... I have a beautiful baby boy who just loves wailing when he's too cranky to sleep. You know that? Every time he does, I think about that scream. See it popping into my head. Think about what it did. and his paw gives him a look as if he's gonna bash his fucking head against the wall. They were good men. Please, Ella, kill that monster. If for no one else, for me. End log. No. I wish the very best to the families of those lost during SCP-3199's initial recovery. Furthermore, I would like to formally request that Corporal Duncan is administered one Class B amnestic at the earliest possible convenience. No excuses. Dr. E. Ewing, Site-114 Director. Addendum 319904, Experiment Logs. Experiment 3199A, Intense Heat Exposure. 2017. Subject: 1 egg sample from SCP-3199. Method: subject relocated to a secure containment cell. Inside temperature of the cell was gradually increased at an average rate of 7 degrees Celsius per minute. Results: after approximately 9 minutes, the egg ruptured violently and produced a single hatchling. On-site personnel reacted swiftly to recontain the newborn instance. However, the excessive internal temperature impacted the physical growth of the young instance, and it reached adolescence at an accelerated rate of 40 seconds. As a result, the now adolescent hatchling produced 2 further instances of SCP-3199. On-site security response was swift, and all 3 instances were detained. All future heat testing involving SCP-3199 egg samples has been forbidden until further notice. Experiment 3199B, Liquid Nitrogen Bath. 2017. Subject: 1 egg sample from SCP-3199. Method: subject submerged entirely in liquid nitrogen. Security remain on standby throughout the procedure after concerns regarding another unexpected outbreak. After approximately 45 minutes of exposure, SCP-3199 had reached negative 190 degrees Celsius. Following 2 hours of exposure, the egg sample was removed and placed under extreme pressure. Results: hydraulic press peaked at pressures around 9,000 psi. Cracks appeared 30 minutes into exposure before the sample shattered. Egg fragments were collected and furthermore pressed into a fine pulp. 0 traces of albumin or yolk were located. Incineration of these remains proved successful at destroying the egg in its entirety. Postscript: as Dr. Ewing once put so eloquently, let us not allow these small victories to distract from the larger picture. And whilst you may find the time to celebrate this discovery, we will not excuse apathy towards the entity itself. Dr. Watt. Experiment 3199C, Chemical Analysis of Shell. 2017. Sample: 10 grams of finely pressed eggshell pulp, taken from an SCP-3199 egg. Results: detailed chemical breakdown shows traces of nacre, enamel, and a currently unidentified carbon compound. Microscope analysis suggests that the shell itself is composed of tightly packed, organized crystals. Practical use of this material is currently undergoing consideration.